Have you ever wanted to build a plastic model kit, but were a little intimidated by the process? Fear not, this is the video for you. Now, if you're like me and you're fans of the scale modeling channel or Martin Kovac's night shift channel and thought to yourself, impossible, I can't do that. Well, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. And if you've not seen their channels, I recommend you check them out, because it was channels like these that got me interested in the hobby, and you can do it too. With a few simple tools and a little patience, just about anyone can build a plastic model kit. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build your very first plastic model kit with a minimum of expense and using tools you probably already have around the house. But first, let's start with the anatomy of your basic plastic model kit. With just about any plastic model kit, when you open the box, you're going to find all the parts attached to the parts tree, or sprue as they're commonly called in the hobby by most modelers. These are injection molded plastic parts made typically in a specific color to go with the theme of the model, but not necessarily. You'll also find a set of instructions and more than likely some stickers or decals. So let's talk a minute about choosing your first kit. Most kits come in two varieties. The more common are the glue together kits, but there are also snap together kits that do not require any glue at all. Now, most of these kits are aimed at younger kids so that they can get started with the hobby, but there are companies like Bandai that make very sophisticated kits that require no glue at all. In fact, most of their kits are snap together. When looking for your first model kit, there are a couple of things you want to keep in mind. First is your skill level. Most kits come with a skill level rating or even an age range, but typically the more parts there are in the kit, the higher the skill level. This is going to be your choice, but if you choose a kit with 300 or 400 parts right out of the gate, you're more than likely going to become discouraged before you finish it. I think my first kit was somewhere around 100 parts or so, and that was more than enough challenge for me, and I consider myself pretty handy with tools. The same goes for the subject matter of the kit. You should try to find something that speaks to your personality. You maybe even plan where you want to display the kit when it's finished as an incentive. The first kit I chose was a 1/25th scale Volkswagen Beetle I picked up because I was very familiar with the car and I had helped my younger brothers work on theirs when we were teenagers. I've since discovered that I prefer science fiction and military kits, which I think makes perfect sense for me because I've loved science fiction since the early days of watching Star Trek reruns with my dad, and the military was a large part of my life for many years. As I mentioned, you've probably got all the tools you need laying around the house. You just need to gather them up. The first thing you'll need is something to cut the parts off the sprue with. Now, you can spend a little money on a starter kit that from Amazon that's for about $9. That's gets you started pretty quick. But it can also be accomplished with a pair of scissors and a pair of nail clippers. You'll also need something to clean the parts up with, and this can be done with a small kitchen knife or a pocket knife. And that's everything you must have if you've chosen one of the snap together kits. Now, if you've chosen a glue together kit, you'll need to pick up a bottle of glue to go with that. If you do have some tools around, a pair of diagonal wire cutters can substitute for the scissors, and a pair of flush cutters can take the place of both. So, I interrupt this video to announce a giveaway. Yeah, I'm going to give away this kit. When I opened YouTube this morning to upload this video, I saw that I now had 500 subscribers. So to celebrate, I'm going to give away the kit. Just look down in the description for how to enter. Now back to the video. So this is an example of a glue together kit. When you open the box, you'll find the parts typically in a poly bag and a set of decals and the instructions. So this is a typical kit. When you open it up, this is what you'll find. Decals on these are water slide, which is a that's another video. We'll get to that. But this is what you'll see. And I'm not quite ready to build this kit yet. So let me put this one up, and I'll show you. We'll show you another one. Yeah, this is a second-hand kit I picked up. It's the previous owner started it but didn't finish it, so I actually don't even know if all the parts are in here or not, and the instructions are missing. But there's a website called ScaleMates that you can go and get the instructions from, so I'm not too worried about that. They actually started on the cockpit and didn't do a horrible job. So whoever had this kit previously, you know, kind of looked like they had a little experience. So, but this would be a good to demonstrate the different ways to remove parts from the sprue and clean them up. As I said, you can start with a pair of scissors, a pair of nail clippers, and a kitchen knife. That's it. That's all you need. So let's get started here. So when you just randomly grabbing the first set of parts out of here, what you're going to want to do is you can take the clippers and orient them to where you can just reach right in there. See, the clippers are, if you can see this, are a flush cutter, not flesh, flush. The blades meet tip to tip, so the sharp points come together in like a vise. And to remove the part, or remove to make a cut that is smooth, versus scissors, which are a bypass. So they're going to apply pressure in two different directions, where this applies pressure in one direction. Now, if you can get to the part with the nail clippers and you don't need the scissors, that's great. But if you do need to get into the part a little deeper, you can't quite get the nail clippers to it. Let's see. What are we going to do an example of? Yeah, this will work. So it's like it's there. You can't get to it without causing some damage. And don't ever just twist them off. That's bad. You'll damage the part. So what you can do is to get closer to it is reach up with the scissors really tight and then just cut the sprue off. And that one fell off. So that wasn't a good example. Let's do another example of this one. So yeah, so here we are. This will be a good example. These are can't get the nail clippers, won't go down in there. So we'll take the scissors and cut this, and don't cut it right next to the part. Cut it away from it just a little bit. You're leaving the little bit of the sprue left behind. There, so you've left that little bit of sprue left behind using the scissors, and then you can come back and that little bit that's left over will slide in between and then can be removed. Like so. Now, as far as cleanup, once you've got that off, the clippers may not do a perfect job, so you're going to have maybe just a little bit of a plastic deformity left there. You can take your pocket knife or a small kitchen knife, and this one's been sharpened, so it's and then just very gently, you don't want to do a lot of pressure, just start scraping it, dragging it across the rough area until it's level with the rest of the part. There you have it. If you've gotten through your first kit and you go, oh, I like that, I want to come back, I want to do some more, but you're still not ready to invest in a bunch of tools yet, this is another type of nail clipper that can be used, and this can replace the scissors and the regular nail clippers. And I use these. These are normal part of my a normal part of my tool set for removing parts that I want to make sure I'm being very delicate with. Another thing you can add very easily is a nail file to also help in cleaning up parts. And just remove anything that's anything that's part of the part tree or the sprue, so that it doesn't look like it came off of a model kit. Looks like the real part, but you know, not really. So that can replace the and you may have these already, that will replace the scissors, nail clippers, and kitchen knife. Now if you're ready to go even a step further, here you can move to a set of flush cutters, and a couple of different examples of those. These are sort of the cheapy little ones that you get with a kit off of Amazon, toolkit off of Amazon. These are a little more expensive, but these were really actually these were originally designed for the electronics industry, for removing trimming solder and trimming wire. So these are hardened steel, where these are not. These are just mild steel, but you're only cutting plastic with these, where these you would be cutting some metal. So these may be more common and easier to find. Another thing you can add is tweezers. You may already have some of these laying around. An example of, no, let me see. Yeah, this is an example of cosmetic tweezers. And these are hobby tweezers. You can see, not a huge amount of difference between them. So if you've got these, you don't need to go buy these. And then there's another little set of tools that is easily attained and doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Now, you want to add a little bit more to your kit. You can start adding, you can add a hobby knife. Again, you may already have this somewhere in the house. These are an X-Acto. X-Acto is the brand name. It's sort of like Kleenex. All tissues are Kleenex, but not all Kleenex are tissues. No, never mind that. So these are hobby knives or razor knives. They're used for a variety of things, but in the hobby, I use this one for. This is great for cutting out around the decals on and stickers that that you need to apply. And this is a great little scraper. As a matter of fact, this one is very sharp, and this one's actually quite dull. I have no worries about touching the blade. And I use it for scraping. So if you've got a place you need to remove a little bit of plastic from, but do it slowly, again, sort of back to the kitchen knife process, but you've got mold lines where the mold came together. Let's see. an example of a mold line. That one, they actually incorporated the mold line into the part. Well, let's imagine. Imagine you need to remove, you've got a mold line that you need to remove, and you can just choke up on the blade and scrape it right off. Yeah. So that's sort of a minimum set of tools. Glue. You want to move on to glue. I am a fan of Mr. Hobby's Mr. Cement Deluxe. It's thin, yet not too thin, and it works really quick. And the way it works is it's not actually glue. It's a cement. The process it uses is to actually melt the plastic a little bit, and then once the plastic has dissolved on the surface, you stick them together and they bond, and then the cement evaporates and it hardens up again and holds the parts together, and they become one part. Another brand does a similar thing is Tamiya. You'll see this a lot in it's probably the most popular glue, but honestly, they're made of the same chemicals. This is butyl acetate and acetone, about a 50-50 mix of each. And if you're willing and you want to buy enough of this, you can actually go and get this off of Amazon for, you know, and make a large quantity of glue for a lot less money than what it costs to buy these little bottles. Super glue is another one, and I also recommend these little pipette applicators, little applicators that allows you to pinpoint where you want the glue to go. And get a this one's thin, which I like best for models, but you're probably going to want some medium and maybe even some gel as well if you're going to do the glue together models. But that's really about it. That's my toolkit. In a nutshell, of the tools I use the most, and you really can't do without these if you want to become a serious modeler. Yeah, there you go. Just a quick, some of the different models that you can get that don't require glue. These are a couple of the more simple ones I've done. This was a 1980. This is a mech. This is not a robot. A mech. This is a character that from a Japanese anime that someone actually climbed inside of it and operated it. So it wasn't a. So this is a vehicle, not a robot. It's not autonomous. Versus R2-D2, which is, these are both made by Bandai. Versus R2-D2, this is another also snap together kit that doesn't require glue. Although I think I did use a little glue here and there just to make the thing permanent. It's not strictly required. And you can definitely finish a kit without it. One of the Bandai kits. And these come in multiple many different skill levels. Like the R2-D2 is a pretty simple one. I've got this one. This one's going to be a little more complicated. It's a much larger kit. The Millennium Falcon. This is from the Rise of Skywalker. It was on sale at the hobby store, so it was 40% off, which you'll find frequently sales on model kits if you keep an eye out. And a good place to pick up kits is from auction sites or sites like the eBay, or I think Macari and Poshmark. I have found kits on all of those, and that older kits of things that I liked from my youth. So, yeah. So go forth and build a kit, and thank you for watching.